we good?
Go.
Yeah, whatever. We're live on YouTube right now.
Hey, welcome to the Tuna podcast. This is my first week. We've had a good time. A lot of people are starting to chirp in and talk questions. Joe Davis is alongside.
sir.
What's happening?
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Hey, of course, this presidential race is gotten really out of hand now. It's a thing about race. Matter of fact, one of the Fox 2 ladies called Kamala a colored lady.
No, they didn't.
Called her a colored lady.
She has the Indian vote because her mama is Indian.
Indian?
And she's black, so she got that vote.
Right.
But she's going to lose a lot of votes because she put a lot of black people in jail in California.
Yeah, she did.
And her husband's Jewish. So, there's going to be
I
people.
got a picture of her family.
There's
Have
going to
you
be
seen the
people
picture?
on that Palestine-Israel situation who aren't going to vote for her just because her.
Yeah, but she's going to
husband's
get all the
Jewish.
votes anyway. She's going to.
I think it's going to be closer than you think. I don't think black people are going to vote for her like you think they are.
I think they are.
I don't think so.
So you think
So you
they're
think
going to vote for her
Them Negroes in the
over
hood
Trump?
gonna vote for her. I think them gonna vote for Trump.
Because of what she did to black folks in California. So
You think Sexy Red gonna change her vote from Trump to Kamala?
Yes.
Sexy Red. I think Sexy Red gonna say, I'm still trying to get that check.
You know what she's
they
trying
still
to
thinking about that
they're
check.
trying to get a check.
They're thinking about that check. And
They're
they're
trying to get a check.
absolutely, without a doubt.
As soon as they wait for if Trump becomes president, he ain't giving them
They
not a
don't
quarter.
care about black people.
They don't care about
not
black
at all.
folks.
But you know how the black people are.
They're just suckers. Don't suck up to Donald Trump.
Give them a check for a barbecue, you know that.
I always say, if you want to get some money, go to some of these black folks that don't care. Go to their house 3 days before the 4th of July, before they go to Snooks to buy rib tips, and they'll cave in.
Absolutely. Give them a little $50, $60, $70 for
I
some
used to have this
ribs.
guy named Vernon Whitlock. He was a barber. He used to tell me that. I said, no, that don't happen. He said, yes, it is. He said, that's how white people get you. Get black people. They know we turn on one another.
Every time.
If at any time,
What did Jesse Jackson say about Obama, remember? They called him on the hot mic?
yeah,
That nigga.
if at any time black folks should stick together, it's right now.
You would think. Especially, you know about Project 25?
Yeah.
They're trying to do everything. Yeah. And
And
so,
then Trump said, I don't know nothing
yeah.
about that.
So, but it says if you're black and you're in politics, you have to pledge an allegiance to the MAGA.
to MAGA movement. And that's
You know,
all.
there's going to be a lot of tap-toeing Negroes that are going to do
But
it.
see, there's a lot of black folks that are not doing their homework and reading.
Well, no, you're not at all.
They don't. You got to read.
That's why most of them are going to vote for Trump.
Don't listen.
That's what I'm saying.
You got to read. Because if you listen to Trump, oh, I'm going to help you. It's like when he said black jobs. Well,
What's a black job?
I ain't never heard
I never heard of a black job.
Because we don't pick cotton no more. We don't mow lawns anymore.
Nope.
We don't cut grass.
Nope.
We don't
I
do that.
hear a
That's
lot,
job.
a lot of young black people say that's Mexican work.
Right.
They don't
That's
say
what they
black.
say.
They don't
I
say
hate
black
to say
job.
it.
They say that's Mexican
No,
work.
10, 20 years ago, we did.
Yeah, but we didn't have a choice.
That was all the job we got.
We was porters and stuff on the train. We did all that.
Right. More and more black people are graduating. Trump took credit when he was in office. I got more black people in college. No, you
No,
have
that's
not.
not how it works.
No,
Yeah.
no. You ain't got
You in
nobody
a
in
4-year
college.
span did that? No, it's not
you
how
ain't
it
got nobody
works.
in college.
Yeah, how it works.
So you're going to tell me all these, she's been speaking to sorority, black sorority. She talked to another one today.
There's black people that haven't voted since Barack Obama been president. You think Kamala Harris is going to be the one to get them back out to vote?
Yes.
I
yes,
don't
I do.
I don't think they like
It's going
her.
to be a groundswell
think
because
they like her.
there's been a groundswell. What's happening with Kamala?
Her own sorority went against her during the when she was running for vice president.
That's
They
right.
had a
But
little
now they
issues
back.
with her.
When my daughter was one of her sorority.
Yeah, they had a
sisters,
little.
AKA.
I remember she said something. Forgot what she said, but they was upset with what she did.
But I found out from a lot of the sisters, and my daughter has that. So we got to vote for her now.
You have to because you have to.
Let's stick with
you
her
have
now.
to. In the
Let's stick
sorority,
with her
that's
now.
just how it goes.
They gonna
That's how
stick
it
with
goes.
it. And if you get the black women, first of all,
Oh, it's over. They already got the. She got
black women.
Like 99%.
get black women.
Yeah, absolutely.
She gonna get the black men. The black men sometimes are dumb. Sometimes are dumb.
I don't know.
They think they're gonna get some slave money from Trump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir, boss.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how they do.
1,000%.
When I met Donald Trump, it's been back in the 80s. It was at a Mike Tyson fight. It was on by the boardwalk. That's when he was accused of making love to Robin Givens, Mike Tyson's ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
All the guys were, black people were in his corner because he was giving them all money. His number one black suck up is Don King.
Ooh.
Don King.
Don King. I thought it was Herschel Walker.
King, huh?
I thought it was Herschel Walker.
Don
King worse?
I'm getting to it. Don King, well, was his boy. Herschel Walker, they all suck up to him. There's a bunch of them. Then now you got, what's the girl? Candace Owens, is that with him?
There was another running back. It wasn't Herschel Walker, but there was another famous running back. It may have been. I was just hearing this story. And so it was when Donald Trump was trying to get a team. What was that? Oh, that's
the USFL team.
USFL team.
That was Herschel.
He had Herschel come in, and he just said,
I got a list
he looked
of
at
all.
his bank account, and he was like, "Oh, I just put $1 million in your bank account."
Yep, thank you.
And ever since then, he was been tight with Donald Trump.
I
That's
got
how
this.
Donald Trump gets cool with all these athletes. He just gives them money when he first meets them, and then they tight ever since.
I made a list, and I cannot find it, and I tried to find it the other day, of all of Donald Trump's Negroes. And
It's a long list.
It's at least 12 of them. The celebrities, Don King's on top of the list, Herschel Walker, Clarence Thomas. I wish I could find this list because everybody on this list is true and standing. Black folks that have supported
probably a
Donald
long
Trump and will
list.
continue to support.
You got the whole list?
I got the whole list, pictures and everything. I got pictures.
I know Candace Owens. What's her name? What was the other black
Now,
girl?
Candace
Stacey
Owens,
Dash.
these are all just men.
Oh. That's what I'm saying. I don't think the black men are going to vote for Kamala. I really don't.
But these
Which
are
is sad. It's a sad thing, but I just don't think. I was just listening to a podcast on the way in to do this podcast. And
About him?
It was the Plastic Cup Boy. So it's like Kevin Hart's people and all his friends, and they were saying how
Kevin Hart.
Not
the
Kevin
comedian?
Hart. Yeah, it was like all his friends talking on this podcast, and they were very skeptical of Kamala and saying how they may not vote for
Well,
her.
I can tell Kevin Hart's.
So I'm just saying
anyway.
it's a thing. So I just know there's black men out there who aren't going to vote for her.
Well, hey, this portion of the show is brought to you by our friends at Del Mar Gardens, by the way. I've got to mention that to you, too. And, of course, don't forget Snooks. Don't forget to reward yourself when you go to Snooks. Here we go. Here's
Joe
the,
Biden.
is this the list?
Joe Biden
There we
was
go.
Joe
Here
Biden
it
was at
is.
Del Mar Gardens.
There's the list. There's the list. Is that a list of black folk?
Ooh, I see Tim Scott. I see Amber Rose. Oh my God. Don King. Is that Samoa? Who is that? Is that what's her name?
That's
From,
the Amber.
Amber Rosa,
Byron Jones,
what's her
I know who
name?
that is. Byron Daniels is his new.
I ain't never seen them. I see
There
the
you have,
twins.
he's the
the ones
politician
dead.
that he was set with him at the convention.
Omarosa, that's one of the names. Byron Jones is terrible. Herschel Walker. Yeah, that's bad. That's all bad. Amber Rose is bad.
And here are the ladies.
That's crazy. You didn't have Kanye West on there. I thought Kanye West was a Trump supporter.
I don't know what happened with
What
him
happened with Kanye? What happened with him and Kanye? They was.
Jim
they
Scott,
was
of course, won it.
You think OJ was a Trump supporter?
No.
You don't?
Hell no.
I don't know. They weren't tight. I thought they were tight.
Well, that was in that money connection. Herman Cain, who died, he died not doing what he was supposed to do. He caught COVID at a Donald Trump rally. That's how Herman Cain died.
That was his mama getting him back from the grave.
That's right.
Talking about you gonna hit me upside the head.
No, that wasn't him. That was Herman.
That wasn't Herman Cain. That was
Dr. Carson.
That was Ben Carson.
Ben
That's
Carson
right, yeah.
said
But
he
Herman
wanted
Cain,
to-
he shouldn't have been at that Trump rally.
He
anyway.
should have been. He said, "I wanted to get so mad at my mama. I wanted to hit her in the head with a hammer." Now, Ben Carson, of course, is going to endorse him. Tim Scott's going to endorse because Tim Scott's "I love you." We
He
always
did. He said,
have-
"I love you." He sure did with a
He said,
big
"I love you,"
grin.
but you couldn't help but see him grin. Gums
Oh my
look like
God,
drive-in
he did say
movies.
that. He did say that. He looked just like that character from Fat Albert.
Yeah.
He looked just like that guy. The
It's
guy
a
who
shame.
can't talk. That's exactly who he looked like with the
How do you
the
go home to
horse
your-
mouth and everything.
Wonder how his kids feel when they go
They
to
don't
school
know.
the next day.
They don't have any mirrors in the house.
Yeah.
They don't know they black.
They don't.
They have zero mirrors in the house.
Well, wonder how his kids feel when they go to school. I know they probably get beat up every day.
They go to a white school. What are you talking about?
They do?
They're not around black people.
Yeah, but not.
No, they probably not invited to the family reunion.
Oh no.
Could you imagine if that was
How can you look
Could you
like that?
imagine if that was your brother or your nephew?
My mother would talk about you so. What's wrong with you?
He wanted
What's
you.
wrong with you?
He couldn't have gone to the
No,
family.
all the black women,
They got the vote.
young and old. I'm
you
sure
think
your
the white-
mother, does your mother like Kamala?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Black women voting for her for
They
sure.
gonna vote for her.
You think white women gonna vote for her? They don't.
Yes.
They raised them $100 million in the
tell you
day.
what.
I think white women gonna vote for her.
What I saw today on CNN and MSNBC, the young white men and young women like her.
Young white men. ain't
That's
voting for
who
her.
you think got Obama elected? Young whites. Blacks
Yes,
did too.
That's true. But young white
How
men.
many more of them?
That's true.
It's like who runs rap music?
Young white men are not voting for Kamala
Yep.
Harris.
Yes, they are.
No way.
Young white men.
No,
are
they,
gonna
they
do-
see themselves in Trump. They
they're
look
gonna
at
do.
Trump
They're
stuff.
gonna
No
do.
way.
Young white people
No way.
are smarter than that because of their black.
So you think Cole's gonna vote for Kamala Harris?
No.
No.
Because of Harris. No.
You think Nate's gonna vote for Kamala Harris?
I don't know.
Nate is voting for Trump. Come on now. You know that's true.
I don't. I still.
You
think,
can't name me one young white person that's gonna vote.
I think some young whites are going to.
Young white women will.
Hold on, wait a minute. Do you think Nate or Cole would have voted for Barack Obama?
No,
That's how he got elected. Young whites.
they weren't able to vote at
Young
that time. Though.
whites.
They weren't even able to vote at
They
that
had
time.
young whites back then that were able to vote.
Yeah, but
And
Nate wasn't one
these
of them.
whites now are
But it's a
older.
different category. This is
The mega-
Trumpism. You got to take into
the
account
mega
Trumpism. Trumpism matters.
The mega movement is strictly race.
Yeah, that
And
part
people-
matters.
And black folks
It's
are too
infecting the other
stupid
people.
to understand it.
They don't know.
Make America great again. It's make America white again.
That's
You
all it
understand?
is.
That's all it
That's
is.
all it
And we
is.
can't understand that.
Put these Negroes back in place. That's
Now,
all it is.
his president, Vice President J.D. Vance, I don't think he liked him. I think he
He
made
did
the
a
wrong
whole
choice.
thing. He did a whole thing against Trump, saying if you're a racist,
Right. I think he said he should go to jail, and all of a sudden he changed his
they
stripes.
all bootlickers.
All of them.
All of them.
Oh, all of them.
Hey, you always tell me white people stick together. They are
White people stick
stick
together.
Absolutely.
They
Can
all-
you imagine that? No way. In the black community, you're not coming back together after that.
White people stick
Drake and
together.
Kendrick Lamar are not getting friends again. That's
What
over.
about some of the rappers? I know some of the rappers don't. What about Drake? People like that.
Drake is
The
Canadian.
Hollywood stars now. The Hollywood
Sexy
stars.
Red, who's big time
All
right
of them
now.
are sticking
She's
behind
Trump.
Trump. But they were going to stick
Jay-Z's
behind
gonna
Biden.
be Democratic, so he's gonna go behind
Who's that?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z going to stick with him. But
Kanye, I don't know.
Now,
Kanye-
Beyonce endorsed him yesterday.
Yeah. You mean her?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, hold on. Let's go back a step further.
That's an easy endorsement.
Taylor Swift.
She hasn't said a word.
Now, she was supporting Biden.
She need to come out and say something.
She didn't say something. She was going to support Biden. Now, what
Well, she
happened
wants to
with
go
all
back
the
to
Swifties?
she want to go back to 1876 anyway, so she weird anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Remember that time Kanye called her up at that one show about
The greatest thing
20
ever.
years ago? You don't deserve no
You don't deserve
award.
this. Beyonce deserve this.
Yeah.
He didn't lie. He
And
didn't
people
lie.
got black folks were the first people that got mad at him. Black people.
Talking about he needed his mama. He missed
Yeah,
his
he's treating that girl like that. You fools. Always sucking up. If you walk down, I'm going to tell you the friendliest person in the world is a black person.
mama every time.
You ever see him, somebody go somewhere to a party or go to somebody's, hey man, how you doing? Shaking your hand. What's up, brother? What's going
Got a
on?
grin.
As soon as you leave, stab wounds, blood everywhere. They get you. Folks,
It'd be the old black men be the funniest. They the shoe shine old black. They
Oh.
be super nice and boot licking, and
tell
then
you
as soon as
what.
you turn your head, shoot that cracker ass cracker.
I had a black man told me years ago, he said, don't take your car to a black mechanic because the end under the hood ain't no
No
good.
good. Yep. That's
I'm
what.
just- the biggest
Fred Sanford.
racist in the world is an old black man.
He been through some stuff.
Yeah,
he done
he's
been through
big,
it. He
old
ain't got
black
time
man.
to deal with no more mess.
No, he
he
don't
mad
wanna-
with
don't
at the
trust
world.
him. Don't- would you-
The world been stepping on him his whole life. He
Don't
mad
bring
at
him
the
over to
world.
my house. He steals. I'm serious. My mother died. The day my mother died, I kid you not, my father, people were coming in and giving the condolences. He hid the silverware. He said, they may steal
Now
the
they still silverware.
Yeah. The day I got married.
Dang.
The day I got married. My father couldn't come to the wedding right away. You know why? He said these Negroes gonna come and break in the house because they know we're at church.
'cause they know
I don't
everybody
care.
know.
That's how bad it
You
is,
stay in a
man.
good neighborhood.
Yeah, and we had when we moved to my neighborhood was predominant. It was all white. We
Yeah.
were the first black family in my neighborhood.
He was the one that made them all run out.
No, well, we were the beginning.
You were the beginning.
We
Yeah.
were the beginning, but it was a Catholic neighborhood, mostly Jewish people. We were the first, because I told you at
Had to be Jewish people.
Christmas
'cause that was the
time,
only
they
ones gonna
brought
let you in.
canned goods to my mother and all our family. My mother got embarrassed. She said, well, they think we're
Right, I would have been mad too.
She was mad, but my father said, no.
Hold
My
it.
father's from the South.
Take it.
Take it and let's give it to people that need it.
Mm-hmm.
So they found out my father owned his own trucking company. He owned his own trucking company. I mean, he had trucks all over and this stuff. But we were the first black family in my neighborhood. Next 30 years, of course, that changed.
And you still haven't seen the TV show Them
Them, no.
that your daughter told you.
My
to
daughter
watch.
said, see it.
It's the exact
thing.
same thing. It's about a black family going into Compton, but they add, the scary ghost stuff into it at the same time.
When they moved into Compton, the part of Compton they were in was all black.
All white.
All white.
It was before Compton
Compton-
became all black.
really?
So
Compton
they were
was like that too?
Yeah, it was all white first.
Oh, that's
And they
how-
they burned the N-word on their driveway and stuff, and their grass. I mean, their front lawn and everything.
Well-
Movie, it's a good show. It'll piss you off.
It was all about
It's graphic. The beginning show, they show these white people come in and rape this woman at the beginning, and then take her baby and smash her baby's head in. It's how the show starts. So it's
so it's
graphic.
not a horror movie, scary movies, real
It's
life.
a TV show.
Yeah.
They do both. They
What's
mix
that-
horror and they mix real life.
What's that scary movie that's out now with the people coming out of the sky with that same black girl, chick in it? There's a movie out now too with that.
Is it? I haven't seen a new one.
Them, my daughter keeps saying, she said,
Them
you
is
need
good.
to see Them.
You need to see season 1. It's
She's
on
the
Amazon
one-
Prime. It's good.
She's the one that told me I need to see that other movie we saw with it.
Get Out or
Get Out.
Get Out is crazy good.
Because she said, Dad, I want you to come over to the house and watch Get Out. She said, but you got to shut up.
Just pay attention.
She said, don't say nothing because you'll miss something. And she was right, because I said, oh, well, this movie's starting out slow. It's when a guy drove down the street in a white Porsche. Remember
Oh
that?
yeah.
First thing.
At the very beginning.
And the guy, I said, wait, she said, watch that guy's face now. You're going to see him again.
Yeah.
That movie
It was
was
so good. It was so good.
The only scary, it was two scary scenes. When the guy kept looking up and upstairs and seeing the black maid.
Yeah, she was creepy looking.
When the big black guy ran by him at nighttime.
Right? With that full sprint.
Full sprint. And then the lady, his mother-in-law supposedly was hypnotizing him.
Hitting him with that teacup, hit that
teacup.
ting. That was so good. It's such a good movie. And it's all about how white people want to have black people abilities.
Right. That's what
That's all
it's
it's about.
always about.
They crave everything that we have, but they just don't want the skin.
And they should have got every award that was out. They didn't.
Yeah.
They got a
That
couple.
movie was great.
Oh,
That was a great
unbelievable.
movie.
Before its time.
Yeah.
I know it was going to be good when they were driving down the highway, because the girl was a cute little white girl.
Yeah.
But something about her, something ain't right with her. Then when he hit that deer, don't no black person
That's
get out when
the
they
only
look
fake part about that
deer.
movie. Ain't no way.
He was
Even
only
with the
looking
white
at the deer.
woman, I'm not getting out the car. I'm sorry.
My father's hit animals before. You know what he did? Kept going.
Kept going.
Or he would pull down the road to see if he messed
Yeah,
up the car.
I pull up a little bit, pull up and see my car. All right, and I'm keeping that animal. It's a carcass now. I'm not worried about that. Right?
He walked all the way over in the woods to
Sure
see
did.
that.
Looked up, got close to it, looked at his eye and stuff.
But see, what got me is when he found out his gal. He found out.
He looked at her picture and it was all black men.
Wait a minute, Job. All the guys she
What
was.
did you tell you? Always make sure you're the first. You always gotta make sure you're the first.
Who kept giving him advice?
His friend kept telling him not to
The
go out
security
there.
guard worked
Yeah,
for her.
kept telling him don't go out there.
Don't go out there,
Don't
man.
go out there in the woods with them white
Don't
folks.
go out there.
He tried to warn him.
I've been told that. Don't do that. Get Out. One of the greatest movies I've ever seen. Nobody
And
talks
Django.
about that.
Those gotta be up there for me.
Get Out, Django, Shaft,
Shaft is good. Yeah,
Superfly. You never saw Superfly?
I seen Superfly.
the original.
Yeah.
Last Scene was one of the best scenes
Yeah,
ever.
I don't know how I feel about the black exploitation movies
Yeah, that's what.
because I
back then
love
you
they're
had to.
good, but and they
had
did
to.
a lot for the black community. But at the same time,
But
like,
at the
damn,
time you had to,
everybody
like-
gotta be a pimp.
Cleopatra Jones.
Yeah, they were good though, but everybody gotta be a pimp.
But the last scene in Superfly, they went to Ryan, and I got to meet Ryan O'Neal. I took a picture with him. And this white detective said, man, Ryan O'Neal said to the white detective, man, I ain't scared of y'all. I got white killers too.
Yeah.
I got white
That'll
killers
get you
too.
right.
The movie faded away. You knew what was going on. But it was black exploitation. They
There
had
was
to
a
have
lot of
big
those.
Cadillac, Had to be pimps, big hat, fur coat,
Talking that
pimp of
jive.
the year.
Did people really talk jive like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was talking like that.
yeah, people did talk like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, high heel, because I used to wear bell-bottom pants, platform shoes. I used to have platform shoes that were 3 inches high. It made me, I was 6'4", I was like 6'6", 6'7" in platform shoes.
Dang, now you were wearing platforms with the fishes.
Oh, you were just, and then if you
was
wore
that?
platform shoes, that made your pants shorter.
Yeah,
And
what was
back then you had to wear long pants.
What was that comedian's name? That was the pimp
Oh, with
with the fish. What was his name?
That's my boy.
He's still alive.
He was on Martin.
He was on Martin. Yeah, he was on Martin when they did
What was his name?
the Players Ball.
Players Ball. Yeah, that was his name. He had goldfish in the hills.
Yeah, he was on. Was he Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah, I was starting.
Not Starsky and Hutch.
He was
What's his
on
name? He was
Starsky-
Starsky and
that was
Hutch.
the movie.
Yeah.
He had
What was the guy's
goldfish
name?
name.
Huggy
Huggy
Bear.
Bear.
Huggy Bear. Yeah.
Huggy Bear.
Because Snoop Dogg played Huggy Bear in the remake.
Speaking of Snoop Dogg, he in the Olympics too.
What is he doing in the Olympics?
He's gonna be some kind of leader, a flag bearer also.
No way.
Yes.
Oh,
Snoop Dogg.
what? I know Coco Golf gonna be a flag bearer.
Yes,
But
that's good.
yeah, Coco Golf and LeBron are the flag bearers.
Snoop Dogg to carry Olympic torch in the final stretch before
No
opening
way.
ceremony in Paris.
That's crazy. No way.
Snoop, can you
Sports
imagine people?
Illustrated.
Yeah, it's this man should smoke weed.
That's
So
I just heard Snoop say that. He said, "Yeah, everybody knows me as a rapper, but doesn't mean I got to do rapper things."
Right.
He said, "I can do everything else. My rapper name gets me in the door, but I can make money off of everything else."
So he gonna carry the Olympic torch in the final stretch.
Is he
before
gonna
the
light a
opening.
joint on the flame?
He might.
I think they got mad. The NFL got mad at him at the halftime show when he pulled out a joint. Like, it's Snoop Dogg. What you think was gonna happen?
Yeah.
You brought up him. He's famous for having weed. You're in LA. You think he's not gonna do that?
NFL got mad at him. He got mad at Janet Jackson.
NFL's no fun.
No fun league.
No fun league for sure.
league. Hey, folks, a little bit later in the program, we're going to have Howard Balzer on. This portion of the show is brought to you by SunTruck BMW at West St. Louis. Also, don't forget all our friends at Victory Men's Health, having a good time. Don't forget, folks, when you go to Snooks, reward yourself 2% off. The Cardinals. The Cardinals yesterday beat probably the best pitcher in the National League. Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens is good.
Who-
He's something else.
He's something else.
Hey, for a young, fun guy.
They let him come back out there, and he
Mm-hmm.
lost. Got a hit off. And he beat. Guess who he beat? Old man Lance Lynn. Cardinals are doing well.
The Cardinals are doing good right now, but
They're damn good.
they're doing really good from how they started. So if they can keep this groove going, they'll be all right. They'll make the playoffs. The
I
way
want to
they're
talk about Terrell Davis. A lot of people don't know this story. Hall of Fame running back from the Denver Broncos, Terrell Davis, was on a plane, United Airlines, with his 2 or 3 kids and his wife. He tapped one of the stewardess, a male stewardess, on his shoulder to get a soda for his kids. The male stewardess said he was hitting him. He went up, told the pilot. They stopped. When they landed, they got the police and they handcuffed him and took him off the plane.
ridiculous.
Can you believe that?
Ridiculous.
Can you believe that?
Because he's a big black man. It's a big dude.
Yeah, he's with his family. He said he was just degraded. But
That's crazy.
But the biggest story,
No one knows who Terrell Davis is, I guess. They didn't see him and realized
somebody
who he
said
was.
Sonia Massey, the young lady that was shot in her home. She was
This is-
praising the Lord. The cop told her, she went on, he
She
told
had
her,
water boiling on the stove, and he said, "We don't need a fire. Can you take it out?" So she took it off the pot,
Uh-huh.
put it in the sink,
he said she was in
and then he
the
pulled a gun. He said, "I'm gonna shoot you in your head," and he did.
and shot. Now he got fired right away.
Oh, yeah, he going to jail.
He going to jail.
He going to jail.
He done.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, you can't
He
hide
done.
that one. Yeah, you going
Of
to
course,
jail. now.
you know who the attorney is.
Oh, Ben
Ben
Crump.
Crump.
Ben
Yeah.
Crump. Yeah, he
He
was
must-
waiting on it.
He
Like,
must work for the
he-
white police
Yeah,
department.
I don't know how he.
Hey, let us know when you're going to shoot another Negro.
Right.
So
We'll
I'll
make
be
it
there.
light. We'll make
Yeah,
it real
we-
light.
can
We'll
you
only
give
take a
him
couple
bonus?
dollars from the state. Yeah,
It's a
you're
shame.
right. He doesn't ever get a lot
They
of
just
money.
murdered this
But they
woman.
did just murder her
She was murdered.
in cold blood. Yeah,
That's murdered.
listen, we're living in a police state.
Yeah.
That's what it
it's
feels like
just-
sometimes. She called the police
Yeah.
and
Now,
ended up getting shot in the face.
another thing too. The WNBA license agreement, because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, their sales is up 500%.
It's not just because of them, but yeah, I feel
Yeah,
you.
those two.
No way.
'Cause now the WNBA is starting to mention Angel Reese because She getting all the hits now too.
She is. She's been getting the hits.
And there's
But it's
little
a lot of
white
greats
girls
now.
like her.
The black girls love Angel Reese.
Oh,
love her. Yeah,
black
she's
and
an
white
idol.
girls love her.
They look up to her.
And look up to her.
Absolutely.
That's that Taylor. She's got that Taylor Swift girls too now.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You got
Absolutely.
that group. You gotta have
exactly.
both. Gotta have both. So
She's crossover.
Thank you.
She's crossover.
But
in a polite
month
way.
ago, you wouldn't hear him talking about Angel. It was all
No,
Caitlyn.
but she played her way into the limelight.
She knows what she's doing.
And they need to talk about Angel Reese now, Breonna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu. They need to talk about all these people because they're good.
Before we take a break, I gotta say this too. I said recently that I thought the men's NBA Olympic team would lose. They've had 2 close games in a row. I think they're gonna win it all.
Yeah, because LeBron there.
They're gonna win it all.
They had a wake-up call.
But this is it. See, people don't get it. Steph Curry and Tatum, they're not playing. The reason why they're in different roles, they're not the man anymore. So it's hard to adjust. Embiid, Steph Curry. Steph Curry made a shot from downtown Phoenix, Arizona the other night. They're going to be okay.
Oh, now you got faith. Now you got faith.
Huh?
LeBron haters, they don't ever want to jump on the train when it's time to jump on the train. They jump on late. They always jump on late. It's okay.
No, one thing I
saw
want about
LeBron take
though,
over, and now you
how's
want to
he
be
going
on
to
his
be able
side.
to finish an entire season playing in the Olympics?
He done it before.
Yeah, but
What
he
is
ain't
this,
been
his
39
fifth, sixth
before either.
Olympics?
He ain't 39 yet.
What is it? This may be
This is it. He said this is
his fourth or fifth Olympics? 20 years in the league, fourth Olympics?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
he
crazy.
was 39 last time. He's 39 now. How you going to finish a regular NBA season?
If Anthony Davis does what he's supposed to do, it don't
Now,
matter.
Anthony Davis is probably
playing too.
the MVP of the Olympics for the American team.
They need him.
He's playing.
They need
he's
KD
playing
to get
lights
healthy
out.
too.
Who?
KD, they need KD to get healthy.
Yeah, without KD, they may not win.
No, they'll be fine. They'll be
if
fine.
you don't shoot the 3-pointer, forget about it. And Anthony Edwards is coming along too. Tatum did a couple moves.
They have LeBron. That's all that matters.
Yeah, because you know what? Those guys.
He took
look up
over.
to
He know
LeBron.
how to take over when it matters.
Don't forget LeBron James, first NBA flag barrier. He would lead to. That's going to be a man and a woman, right?
The other one's Coco Golf.
Coco was picked.
Coco Golf.
You kidding me?
No, I'm serious.
She really, I thought you was
Coco-
kidding.
I'm dead
They
serious.
picked Coco.
Coco
Good.
Golf, yeah.
They have 2
And it's
black
five.
folks
And
carrying
it's five. I
flag.
think they vote on it. So
Yeah,
like
they
all
do.
the
They
athletes,
vote on
they
it.
voted on Coco Golf and LeBron James.
Coco, do me a favor. Start winning the major
You gotta
matches.
finish.
She makes me so mad.
She got to finish.
Come on, girl.
She dominates like the first 2 rounds, and then
Yeah,
she,
then
she
just
started
come
getting
on,
shaky.
girl.
She started getting
That
shaky.
mental, it's mental. It ain't physical. That mental edge, because she lost it the last, was it the Wimbledon? She lost it. She got mad at her coach.
Coach, yep.
Come on, man.
Speaking
Come on,
speaking of, have you seen? There's a new Serena Williams documentary out,
I heard about it.
and I seen a preview of it, and she said that she retired in 2006 and didn't tell nobody, and her sister convinced her to unretire. So I wonder if when Dr. Rick comes back from the North Pole in the Olympics, we should ask him
You
about
see
that
the
on the
pictures
podcast.
of Dr. Rick jumping in
in the North Pole.
Oh, yeah. They put a rope around
That's
it.
crazy. Yeah, he just says you get lost.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There ain't no way. See, you
see
white
those
folks can
polar
do a lot of
bears?
stuff. Yeah. I thought it was eating
You
Dr.
say
Rick's head.
That's the kind of white you want to be.
No. Folks, we can take a quick time out. We'll be
He
right
said
back
no.
with Howard Balzer.
He said, "No, sir." No, sir. Yeah, that was crazy.
That was okay, wasn't it?
No, it was good.
What's going on, Howard?
I'm doing well, Tuna. Day one of Cardinals training camp is in the books. Just got back from that. And speaking of the Hall of Fame, a week from today, I will be probably by this time next Wednesday, I will be in Canton,
So
ready for all of the weekend's festivities. So looking forward to hitting camp and the Hall of Fame. And it's football time, baby. Football time.
football time. A lot of surprises here in St. Louis coming up. We're going whatever we do, Howard. You with me, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Howard Balzer. So we'll be talking to you from Canton next week then.
Let me see. I'm trying to figure out the time. Yeah, we should be able to make that work. I get it. Well, it might be a little. No, I get into Canton at around 4:30 Eastern time. So yeah, we should be able to get that done.
We do that
Absolutely.
done. Like you said, nothing's like training camps. Howard, I remember when I've been to probably 15 or 20 training camps over the years, and there was nothing like the training. The one thing surprised me, Howard, was 2 or 3 things: the karaoke contest and the food. The food was breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Howard, you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. That was, those years of, at Macomb. And the funny thing was, I got to know the guy who was in charge of the food service there. And I do have to admit and say that I don't recall ever making a breakfast in Macomb, at the dining area, but was usually there for lunch, certainly, and definitely dinner. And so they would have 2 nights. It was either one, maybe 2 nights a summer that they would have lobster tail.
Right.
And they had a lot of other good food. Obviously, a couple 3 nights they'd have steak, and other nights, a lot of different things. But the lobster tail were a big favorite. And so I can remember after couple of years getting to know the guy who was in charge of the food service. And the first night of seeing him, he'd say hello, I'd say hello, and I said, What are the nights for the lobster tail? Just so we know.
I remember the Bears when they went to the Super Bowl, the 84, 85 Bears. They would have steak for breakfast. I would have steak and eggs for breakfast. But they want the players to have all that protein, don't they, Howard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. No doubt about it. No question. Now of course, there's so many, teams that are at home, but even the teams that are staying at home, they all have pretty, pretty significant kitchen areas, and so that's a big part of it. Is certainly feeding the players. But the Cardinals are home, but they're not at their practice facility. They're at a hotel that's close to State Farm Stadium, which is in Glendale. But yeah, the food was, always been, big. It was always a fun part of it. But as you were saying that, by the way, in a couple of hours, I guess it'll be about 8 o'clock, I think. Yeah, 8 o'clock Central Time. This week's edition of Pro Football, the Hall of Fame radio show that I do. We had Dick Vermeil on today. We taped it earlier along with Tony Dungy. And so it's always great talking to Dick because, the memories come fast and furious in terms of all the great Rams teams. But I remember, this is not something we talked about, but as you were talking about the food, there was a guy, I think he was the assistant strength coach, a guy named, oh my goodness, Billy Long, maybe, something like that. And he was the guy that came up with, the Rams kind of as a team had a little bit of a slogan, if you will, that they had back in '99, which was "Got to get to work." Right. They would say that after every practice, "Got to get to work," and he came up with that. Well, he was also a pretty good cook, and so one day each summer during camp, he'd be out there at about 7 a.m. cooking ribs and cooking all kinds of great stuff on the barbecue. And the worst part of it was that you'd start smelling it at lunchtime when you came back around where he was cooking, but you knew you had to wait for dinner to eat it. And that was always, a fun night when he would do that, do the barbecue. So yeah, the food is always, I don't know that they do it that, that feed the media. Now we get lunch, with the way the Cardinals schedule is, the coach, talks at about 12:20. and the practices after that, and there's a break in between talking to him and then practice. And so they do feast lunch, and it's fine, it's good, but it's still nothing like the variety and the things that they had in the in the cafeteria in the areas where where the teams would eat.
Who was the coach that used to, during regular season, used to put the quotes on the bulletin on the blackboard in the team meeting room? The
I
assistant
think
coach.
that might have been Frank Gans.
Frank Gans. He used to always have a quote every day, a different quote.
Yeah, Frank Gans, the special teams coach. And I'll tell you, it was just an education of when the special teams would be out on the field going through practice, of just listening to him. And he didn't use a bullhorn, which was crazy, because by the end of practice, he couldn't talk. And he'd be just yelling all these different things, open the gate, do this, do that. He'd have a little different saying for everything that the teams were supposed to do. And he was a hell of a special teams coach. I mean, he was one of the best. And, he was with Vermeil and did all that. And of course, everyone talks about the offense, obviously, the greatest show, and the defense was pretty darn good. But the special teams were a big part of why the Rams were successful. In fact, that 1999 season, what many people forget, I believe this is the number, I might have to double check it afterwards, but that 99 season, they had 11 return touchdowns for the team. And I believe 3 or 4 of them were on kick returns, with Tony Horn leading the way and Oz Hakeem on punts. And then the defense, contributed, a bunch of the other ones. So, on fumble returns, interception returns, whatever it may be. So, that was a big part of the points that the Rams were able to put up in addition to just the offense.
How the NFL has come out with their top players in the past 25 years, and of course Tom Brady was number one. What do you think? I'm not looking at the list. Aaron Donald and Randy Moss. What do you think they should have been rated?
Where do I think they should have been rated? It's all, obviously it's all an opinion. I usually don't get that enamored with all that stuff, because it's just someone putting together a list, whether it's someone who just puts it down themselves or polls a certain number of people or whatever it is. I would say this, though, and I've said this before, and people can disagree or agree or disagree, but when I look at Tom Brady, he's not the guy. And when you're just talking about the best players, best athletes, whatever it might be, that wasn't Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady was obviously a heck of a quarterback, but in terms of arm strength, he did what had to be done to win. There's no doubt about it. But I've always thought it's somewhat disingenuous to consider someone the, quote, greatest of all time, whether it's among quarterbacks or players, just because his team won so much. And granted, he had a big part of winning, but a whole lot of other guys had a big part of the winning also. And so I don't believe that automatically puts you at the top just because your team, won a lot. And so I don't know that I would pick, so I didn't see this list you're talking about. This was the top players of all time, or just this decade?
The past 25 years.
Are you talking about ESPN's list?
Just for
ESPN list.
Oh, the ESPN list. Okay, yeah, I did see that one.
Not the top. They got 2 lists out. The top 100 players of all.
They did 100.
Yeah, but they got a 25 NFL list also.
Yeah, that was the 100 best athletes.
Yep.
And so they combined a whole lot of them. It got a lot of people a little beside themselves here in Phoenix because Larry Fitzgerald wasn't on the top 100, but they had a skateboarder in there. I mean,
wow,
what's
skateboarder.
that guy's name? Is it Sean Woods or something?
Sean Woods.
Yeah, they had
Skateboarder.
him on the list of 100 greatest athletes. And I'm thinking, really? But, they were just doing it to recognize a lot of different people.
Well,
the top 100, there were 12 NFL players in it.
Well, a swimmer finished first, right?
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps finished first.
Yeah, Michael Phelps was first, right.
And who was second? LeBron James or someone? Oh, Serena Williams. Serena Williams was second.
I'm okay with that.
On the top
So
100
that
list.
shows me they're just doing it to be, I don't know, politically correct.
But Howard, they also had a top 25 NFL list as well.
Okay, well,
which,
I didn't see that one.
yeah, it's out now, and Tom Brady finished number 1.
Well, you know, when you talk about great, and that's the 25 best athletes.
25 best football players
In 25 years?
Oh, best football players.
in 25 years.
Again, I don't know that I would put
Let me see.
Tom Brady there.
The
And
top
number
football
one, I
player
could
since
name a whole bunch of
2020?
Players at other
I mean, since
positions
2000?
in terms of what they meant to their teams and how great players they were. You know, whether it was Aaron Donald, you know, whether it was, you know, Randy Moss is in there, you know, Calvin Johnson. I mean, there's been a lot of great players, but a lot of times it leans towards the quarterback. But, you know, in turn, I mean, you can say he was part of the greatest winners. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know that automatically makes you the best player of, you know, these first 25 years.
I can think of 3 games Tom Brady had out of the 7 Super Bowls where he played horrible. The final game against Seattle when they threw the bad touchdown pass, he didn't help them win.
No, exactly. They were. I remember looking at this with Lindy's. He did a magazine which didn't go over too well when Brady first announced his retirement and then changed his mind. So he did a special magazine on Tom Brady, and because of that, it didn't sell very well, unfortunately. But I wrote a story in there saying that, you know, I've seen comments from people that automatically, without any question, Tom Brady is the greatest football, you know, the great, you know, NFL player of all time. And I say, well, there's no debate on that? Seriously? And again, just because his team won a lot of, you know, won Super Bowls, and that's what it's, you know, that's what I think, you know, affects, you know, some of the selections.
Howard,
And I don't think that just because your team won a lot automatically makes you one of the best players ever.
this is the NFL list for ESPN. They ranked the top 25 best players since 2000, and it was 6 quarterbacks on the list.
Are you asking me which?
No. They had 6 quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady was number 1. Patrick Mahomes was 2. Aaron Donald was 3. Peyton Manning finished 4th, and Randy Moss finished 5th.
And it's interesting about Moss because when you call him the greatest player, then you're ignoring the fact that he didn't block. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, that's not his job. Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
It's the job of wide receivers to block. And, you know, that helps your team win a lot of times. And so he didn't block. He also, you know, quit on the Raiders when they weren't very good, and he just wanted out of there, and he just stopped. You know, I can remember, you know, seeing plays, and others would write about it where they'd watch film of a play where he was running around and didn't even run the route because he knew it wasn't coming his way, and so I don't know that qualifies you as a top 5 player of the last 25 years. But you know, everybody looks at the athletic ability, looks at what he was able to do as a pass catcher, and the guy was great at that. You know, there's no doubt about it. But there's also been, you know, and there again, Larry Fitzgerald, his numbers dwarf Randy Moss. They dwarf Randy Moss. I don't know if he's on that top 25.
I'm looking right now as we talk. Howard, the 13th and 14th selection were Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce was 14th. I don't see Larry Fitzgerald's name on here at all.
Well, that's pretty crazy that he's not in the top 25.
Marshall Faulk was 21st.
Johnson.
Marshall Faulk was 21st. Warren Sapp was 22nd.
Wow.
Larry Fitzgerald, he did not make it. I can't believe that.
That makes no sense. And I'll tell you
okay. He's 27.
As much as we love Marshall, if this is since 2000,
2000.
he didn't do all that much from 2000. He had a couple good years, but he didn't play that long after 2000. I mean, 99, of course, was, you know, the year the Rams won, and a lot of his excellent years before that in the late 90s were with the Colts. And so, you know, by 2004, I mean, heck, I think, maybe it was 04, maybe it was 06.
06.
Whatever year it was, when Steven Jackson, when Falk wasn't playing that much anymore. So that was the year that Steven Jackson had 2,000 plus yards, running and receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you put a guy in there as one of the, top 25 players of the last 25 years, and he only played like at a high level 4 or 5 of those years?
Because he was in the Super Bowl.
Maybe they don't realize that.
Larry Fitzgerald was 27th. Orlando Pace was 28th.
Well, again, it's
It's
throwing
awesome
names
subject.
at a wall, and I know that they supposedly polled people behind the scenes and all that, but the bottom line is these lists come out at this time of the year. I think these came out like within the last week.
They did.
Everybody's putting together their lists when there's not that much going on, and they do it for this. They do it for one reason and one reason only, and that's so talk shows like this and things like that people will talk about.
That's right.
That's the only reason they do them.
Howard, before we let you go, tell us about the Cardinal camp today and what was stood out for you.
Well, it's only day one, and always have to remind people that the first 3 days of training camp are they're not in pads. It's really kind of an extension of OTAs, although there was a little bit more intensity and guys were going at it pretty good. But there's no pads, just shells and helmets. But they went at a good tempo, and they've got most of all their players healthy, which is a good thing. I see all these teams listing all these guys that have failed physicals at the start of training camp, which most of them is with injuries from last year that are still lingering on. Other guys, sometimes they get hurt in the off-season work, and they're not ready for the start of training camp. And right now, Tuna, there's over 100 players in the league now. When you do it by average, that's an average of 3 a team. But Seattle opened training camp with like 12 guys that couldn't pass their physicals, and so you see all these guys, and the Cardinals are, at least for now, are healthy. They didn't put anybody on that physically unable to perform or the non-football injury list. They had all the guys out there healthy. The one thing I will say about them is that they have very good vibe. Now, as James Conner said when he talked to us today, we can say all those things, but that's all talk. We've got to prove it when we go out in the field. But we had a bunch of interview opportunities with players over the last month, 2 a week, even after OTAs and minicamp ended. And to a man, they're all talking about how much they're looking forward to training camp. Now, how many times you hear that from players? Now, granted, there's not 2-a-days anymore. You're not in pads a lot. But these guys, this team, these players are genuinely excited and enthusiastic because they think they can be a very improved team. Obviously, they'll have to prove it, but you can see that these guys are working hard and that they certainly improved a lot of the talent on the roster from last season.
Howard Balzer, thank you for joining us. We will talk to you next week from the NFL Hall of Fame.
Look forward to it, Tuna. Take care. Always enjoy it.
Thank you, sir.
Just wrap it up.
Yep, we're going to wrap it up right now. Hey, how about that? I'm new at the podcast, man. I'm old. See, old people don't know how to deal with podcasts. I'm old.
Yeah, I mean, we
When
are
I
streaming.
get out tonight, I'm young. We'll see you next week. If I keep doing it, it'll be okay, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He is doing 50 minutes.
I think we get more hits than Cleveland got when he started. But I ain't worried about no goddamn looking like fuck Mike Cleveland. Fuck him.